Hello, denizens. Former network executive reaction here. Yes, I'm back on the She-Hulk merry-go-round. We're up to episode 5, and as usual, I'm not going to review it because I've given up trying to ascertain what rules this show plays by, and that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. The show has evolved in such a way that I believe I can provide a good, constructive overview to you budding TV writers how not to develop a show. I mentioned in my She-Hulk confession video that each of the 4 shows to date at the time felt more like a pilot for a different show. And show 5 is no different. Now it's kind of a goofy Saturday kids show for female adults. Think of Lizzie McGuire, done exactly the same way, but with all the actors in their 30s. For those of you who don't know, Lizzie McGuire starred Hilary Duff. Hey, I had a young daughter at the time. I didn't just watch it alone. Well, sometimes. Anyway, I might be old school, but I'm used to writing a show with rules and very clearly defined characters. I also strongly believe, for better or worse, that audiences prefer repetition over random creativity. That's why cop and medical shows are called procedurals. It's the same pattern every week, accented with, the usual interpersonal complications that make it feel new each week. Barney Miller, perp arrested, perp story ensues, perp story ends. House, the medical drama, perplexing disease of the week, took repetition to new heights. Yet it was a huge hit because of exactly that. She-Hulk has no rules. The one through line is She-Hulk herself. That's it. Fran Drescher has a starring role in this episode. The potpourri lawyer has a bit part, acting like an idiot. Mallory Book is in this. The initial premise of this entire series, that of She-Hulk heading up the superhuman division of a big law firm, well, except for the Tim Roth moments, has not materialized. There is a hint that Daredevil will be coming up next week, but he's also a lawyer. We'll see how they deal with that. But the producers of this show have assiduously eschewed the rinse and repeat mantra of a successful network show. And as much as people rail against that kind of rigid conformity, that's what works. TV is comfort food. It's your Wednesday spaghetti dinner. Overall, it was a silly bit of fun with several over-the-top performances from Jamila Jamil as Titania and Griffin Matthews as the superhero fashion designer Luke Jacobson. Jamila's makeup and clothing needed to have their own credits. They were something to behold for sure. Accepting this bouillabaisse of comedic moments and accepting the fact that we're not really going to see a properly developed superhuman legal division, at the very least, the producers of this show should have thrown in a She-Hulk punch-up. If you tuned into an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger, and didn't get a fight scene featuring Chuck Norris, you'd have written to the governor of Texas to demand that the show be removed from the airwaves. As it stands, this She-Hulk episode missed a great opportunity to combine the reticent superhero fashion guru with a She-Hulk fight scene. In this show, Luke dismisses She-Hulk as not being famous enough for him. So why not have an incident that requires She-Hulk to save the day, have her legal clothes ripped, which inspires Luke to want to create the ultimate fashion experience that can expand to accommodate both Jennifer and She-Hulk. In this episode, Fran Drescher convinces him to do it with some silly, stupid patter. Main characters must affect change, folks. Do you hear me? Titania is a supervillain, isn't she? Why didn't She-Hulk and Titania have a go? I didn't understand why such an obvious setup was not exploited. These people do not read comic books. To tell you the truth, when they found their way into Luke's secret fashion lair, I honestly expected to find Edna Mode from The Incredibles there. A real-life Edna Mode, a.k.a. Edith Head, would have been hilarious. As it stood, I thought Griffin was channeling quite a bit of Edna in his performance. Anyway, that's it for me. Without rules, repetition, and clearly defined cast members, there is very little chance that any show would work. Could it happen? Sure, anything is possible in this crazy showbiz world. Will it happen here? No. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.